Hello, everyone. This is your friendly physician host. And today we're going to have an honest, practical conversation about supplements after age 60. Your body at 60 is not the same body you had at 30 or 40. Your stomach makes less acid. Your gut absorbs differently. Your liver and kidneys clear nutrients more slowly. Bones remodel at a different rate. Nerves and muscles ask for a slightly different kind of support. So the old rule of take a big multivitamin and you'll cover it all can backfire. Some vitamins that helped you once can become problems now. Others become more important than ever. In this episode, I'll walk you through the 4 vitamins older adults should generally avoid unless there's a good medical reason. And the 4 nutrients I most often recommend to my 60-plus patients because they truly move the needle for energy, bone strength, heart and brain health, sleep quality, and resilience. We'll also cover quality, timing, forms that are actually absorbed, and the lab tests I ask my patients to check so we're supplementing based on facts, not fear or marketing. Let's start with a surprise for many people. More is not better with vitamin A, especially the preformed retinol form. Vitamin A absolutely matters for vision, immunity, and tissue repair. But after 60, the liver's ability to store and regulate retinol declines, while bone becomes more sensitive to excess. High-dose preformed vitamin A from supplements or cod liver oil can accumulate and quietly thin bones over time, raising fracture risk and causing symptoms like dry skin, headaches, dizziness, even hair loss or joint pain when toxicity is significant. The safer way to meet your needs after 60 is simple. Get provitamin A carotenoids from foods: carrots, sweet potatoes, pumpkin, spinach, kale, cantaloupe. Your body converts only what it needs to retinol and leaves the rest harmlessly unconverted. If you do have an eye condition that truly needs retinol, that decision belongs with your ophthalmologist or primary care doctor, with labs and dosing supervision. Otherwise, skip preformed vitamin A capsules and lean into colorful plants. Number 2 is iron. Iron is vital for hemoglobin and energy metabolism. But most men and postmenopausal women don't lose much iron daily. Past 60, a multivitamin with iron just in case can be a problem. Iron is a highly reactive metal. Excess stores, reflected by ferritin and transferrin saturation on labs, drive oxidative stress, the biological equivalent of rust, affecting blood vessels, brain, pancreas, and heart. I regularly meet patients who've taken 18 milligrams of iron daily for years with normal blood counts. When we finally check ferritin, it's elevated, and their fatigue, joint stiffness, or digestive complaints make more sense. The rule here is strict. Only take iron if your clinician confirms deficiency or iron deficiency anemia, and then choose gentle, bioavailable forms such as ferrous bisglycinate, taken away from calcium and acid-suppressing medications when possible. Otherwise, get iron from food: beans, lentils, leafy greens, eggs, small amounts of red meat, and pair plant iron with vitamin C from bell peppers, citrus, or berries to improve absorption. And if you have unexplained iron deficiency after 60, don't just supplement. Ask your clinician to look for a cause, especially in the GI tract. Third on the go-slow list is synthetic high-dose vitamin E, specifically DL-alpha tocopherol at 400 IU or more. Vitamin E is not one molecule. It's a family of tocopherols and tocotrienols found together in foods like almonds, sunflower seeds, hazelnuts, and avocados. Large doses of isolated synthetic DL-alpha tocopherol can crowd out vitamin K and the other E family members, nudging your blood clotting balance toward bleeding and potentially interacting with antiplatelet or anticoagulant drugs. In certain populations, high doses have been associated with worse outcomes rather than better. The food message wins again. If you want vitamin E, eat it. If a clinician recommends supplemental E for a specific reason, aim for natural D-alpha tocopherol or a mixed tocopherol product at moderate doses, And always disclose it to your care team if you're on blood thinners. Fourth is calcium carbonate, taken alone and in high doses. Take calcium for bones is only half a sentence. Bones are living tissue that require calcium delivered with the right partners. Vitamin D3 to absorb it, vitamin K2 to direct it into bone and keep it out of arteries, magnesium to keep bone flexible and support remodeling, and weight-bearing movement to tell your skeleton, we still need this. Calcium carbonate is cheap and common, but it neutralizes stomach acid right when older stomachs already make less, and it's comparatively poorly absorbed without acid. In susceptible people, it can contribute to constipation, kidney stones, and, if taken without D3 and K2, the wrong kind of calcification. Prefer calcium from food. Low oxalate greens like kale and bok choy, sardines with bones, yogurt if tolerated, tofu set with calcium, sesame or tahini, fortified non-dairy milks. Then supplement only if diet and bone density testing show you need it. If you do supplement, calcium citrate is often gentler and better absorbed with low stomach acid, and the total daily intake from food plus supplements is typically kept near 1,000 to 1,200 milligrams per day, split doses, not all at once. So that's the be careful group. Preformed vitamin A, retinol, routine iron without deficiency, high-dose synthetic vitamin E, and standalone calcium carbonate. Notice the theme: wrong form, wrong dose, wrong combo. Now let's talk about the 4 nutrients I most often see make a real difference for adults over 60 when used smartly, consistently, and with labs guiding us. First is vitamin D3, the sunshine hormone. D3 helps regulate thousands of genes involved in immunity, bone health, muscle function, and mood. After 60, skin becomes less efficient at making D3 from sunlight. Indoor living, sunscreen, higher latitude winters, darker skin tones, and certain medications all compound the gap. I routinely see low or borderline 25-hydroxy vitamin D levels in older adults with fatigue, muscle weakness, frequent winter infections, or low bone density. The fix is targeted and simple. Take vitamin D3 with your largest meal that includes healthy fat, olive oil, avocado, salmon, eggs, because D is fat soluble. Typical maintenance doses range widely depending on baseline labs, sun exposure, body weight, and absorption. Many older adults do well in the 1,000 to 2,000 international units per day range. Those who are deficient may need short-term higher dosing under medical supervision, followed by retesting. Most clinicians aim for a 25 OH vitamin D blood levels around 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter. Some bone specialists target 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter in adults with osteoporosis. What matters is not a one-size-fits-all number. It's measuring, supplementing, and then measuring again in 8 to 12 weeks to see if your dose actually works for your body. Second is vitamin B12, critical for red blood cells, myelin, the insulation on your nerves, and brain function. Stomach acid falls with age in many common medications: metformin, proton pump inhibitors, H2 blockers. Further impair B12 absorption from food. The result can be sneaky, fatigue, numbness, or tingling in the hands or feet, balance changes, mood shifts, brain fog, even memory issues. I've seen patients convinced they were developing dementia who dramatically improved once we corrected B12. The practical approach: ask your clinician to check B12, methylmalonic acid, and possibly homocysteine if there's concern. Fourth is magnesium, one of the most consistently helpful minerals I prescribe for older adults. Magnesium participates in hundreds of reactions: energy production, heart rhythm, muscle relaxation, nerve signaling, blood sugar control, and vitamin D activation. Soil depletion, refined foods, diuretics, PPIS, and stress all push levels down. Low magnesium shows up as leg cramps, eyelid twitches, stiff muscles, poor sleep, anxiety, constipation, palpitations, or can't relax nerves. The form matters. Magnesium glycinate is gentle and well absorbed and can be taken in the evening to support sleep and muscle relaxation. Magnesium citrate can help if constipation is an issue. Magnesium oxide is poorly absorbed and mostly works as a laxative. Common maintenance intakes are 200 to 400 milligrams elemental magnesium per day, adjusted to bowel tolerance and kidney function. If you have chronic kidney disease, you must discuss dosing with your nephrologist first. Let's knit this together into a practical daily plan. First, build a food foundation. Leafy greens, beans and lentils, nuts and seeds, fish, especially salmon or sardines, eggs if tolerated, colorful vegetables and berries, olive oil, fermented foods, and adequate protein to maintain muscle mass. Second, choose targeted supplements rather than a giant shotgun multivitamin. A common, effective stack for many adults over 60 looks like this. Vitamin D 3 daily with a meal, K 2 mK 7 daily with D. 3 magnesium glycinate in the evening. B 12 methylcobalamin sublingual most mornings if you're low, borderline vegan vegetarian, or on meds that impair absorption. Add calcium only if your diet falls short or bone density is low. If needed, use calcium citrate in split doses with D3 and K2, not calcium carbonate by itself. Skip routine iron unless your labs say you need it. Avoid high-dose synthetic vitamin E and preformed vitamin A retinol, unless a specialist prescribes them for a defined reason and is monitoring labs. Timing tips matter. Fat-soluble vitamins, D3 and K2, go best with your largest meal. Magnesium glycinate is perfect after dinner to support sleep and nocturnal muscle relaxation. B12 can be taken in the morning. Some people feel more alert with it early in the day. Separate iron, if prescribed, from calcium by at least 2 hours. They compete. Keep a simple weekly pill organizer and a written checklist. Consistency beats intensity. Small doses taken daily for months build tissue levels more reliably than big sporadic boluses. Quality matters too. Look for third-party testing, USP, NSF, consumer lab or equivalent, transparent labels in bioavailable forms. D3, cholecalciferol rather than D2, methylcobalamin/adenosylcobalamin rather than cyanocobalamin if you have methylation concerns, magnesium glycinate or citrate rather than oxide, MK7 for $2. Avoid blends that hide the actual amount of each nutrient behind proprietary language. And be wary of gummies with lots of sugar alcohols or dyes. What about labs and safety? For vitamin D3, ask for a 25-hydroxy vitamin D blood test before starting, and again after 8 to 12 weeks to make sure you're in range without overshooting. For B12, ask for B12 and MMA if you have neurologic symptoms or are on medications that lower B12. Retest in 8 to 12 weeks. For magnesium, serum levels are an imperfect snapshot, but your symptoms, kidney function, and response guide dosing. Discuss with your clinician if you have heart rhythm issues or chronic kidney disease. For calcium, if you supplement, check calcium and consider parathyroid hormone, PTH, and vitamin D, and if you're on a higher intake, discuss urinary calcium if you have a history of stones. For iron, never supplement blind. Ask for a CBC, ferritin, iron, T, IBC, and transferrin saturation. And if you're deficient past 60, look for a cause. Don't just cover it up. Let's spend a moment on interactions, because safety is part of good medicine. If you take warfarin, any vitamin K, including K2, requires coordination with your prescriber to adjust your dose based on INR. If you're on diuretics that I also want to address expectations, because supplements are not magic. Healing is quiet and cumulative. Vitamin D levels rise millimeter by millimeter each week. Magnesium eases cramping over days, then deepens your sleep over weeks. B12 gradually brings back mental clarity and steadier balance. K2 and D3 change the trajectory of bone remodeling over months and years. You won't wake up a new person in 3 days, but 6 months from now, you may notice you're steadier on steps, less anxious, sleeping better, getting sick less often, and your bone scan has stabilized. That's real medicine. Now let's bring it all home with a simple checklist you can take to your next visit. Am I taking any supplement with preformed vitamin A, retinol, or cod liver oil? If yes, why? And is there a safer carotenoid from food plan instead? Does my multivitamin contain iron? If I'm a man or a postmenopausal woman without iron deficiency, can I switch to an iron-free formula? Am I taking synthetic DL-alpha tocopherol vitamin E at 400 IU or more? If yes, do I actually need any E supplement, or can I prioritize nuts, seeds, and avocado? Am I taking calcium carbonate by itself? Could I emphasize food calcium and, if supplementing, use calcium citrate in the lowest effective dose paired with D3, K2, magnesium, and weight-bearing exercise? Have I checked my 25 OH vitamin D in the past year, and is my D3 dose getting me into the target range? Have I checked B12 and MMA if needed, especially if I'm on metformin or acid-suppressing meds, vegan, vegetarian, or noticing memory, balance, or tingling symptoms? Is my daily magnesium intake adequate? And am I using a well-tolerated form like glycinate? If I'm on warfarin, have I coordinated any vitamin K2 plans with my prescriber? Finally, remember that supplements should complement a life that already nourishes you. Protein at each meal to preserve muscle, twice weekly resistance training, daily walking, balance work to prevent falls, sunlight on your skin and face when you can safely get it, hydration, fiber for your microbiome, and sleep that your nervous system can trust. Your mindset matters too. The calmer you are, the better your body digests, repairs, and absorbs. Treat this like investing. Steady deposits, over time, compound. So if you're over 60, here's the distilled plan. Be cautious with preformed vitamin A, routine iron, synthetic high-dose vitamin E, and standalone calcium carbonate. Focus your daily 4 on D3 with food, K2MK7 as the calcium traffic director, magnesium glycinate for muscles, sleep, and nerves, and B12 in an absorbable form for brain and blood. Choose clean brands, right forms, right doses, right timing, and verify with labs. That is how you protect your bones, heart, brain, and energy, not with noise, but with harmony. You don't need a bag full of pills. You need the right few, taken consistently, layered on top of real food, real movement, real rest, and a mindset that believes healing is still possible at any age. Because it is. If you'd like, tell me your current supplements, medications, and any recent lab numbers: vitamin D, B12, ferritin, kidney function. I can tailor this plan to you, line by line, and suggest exact timing for your daily routine.